Good day, people from the future. Today I will be talking to you about books. That's if you haven't already forgotten what they are. You see, you're living in a generation where books are becoming extinct, replaced by digital versions called e-books. Instead of explaining how this is happening, let me show you. Meet Charles Merrick, born in 1912. His hobbies include croquet, hunting, and reading highly popular novels. At the moment, Charles is halfway through a novel called The Great Gatsby. In Charles's free time, he enjoys catching up on The Great Gatsby by reading it on his 500 acres land in the country. Charles says, "Reading is the most imaginative form of entertainment we have. You can read a novel and be drawn into a new world." We like you, Charles. If we skip a few generations, we meet Charles's great-grandson, Eric. We don't like Eric. Eric was born in 2012 and thus has seen a dramatic change in the reading industry. Do you remember what that is, Eric? Reading. What's that, Eric? Is it like Facebook? I hate you, Eric. I hate you. If Eric were to read a book, it wouldn't be made of pages and words nowadays. It'd be made of the internet. He'd read it on his iPad or a Kindle. The majority of Eric's generation read via these e-books, rather than the classic paper ones. In fact, if you ask Eric, does he know what a book made from paper is, his answer is no. Oh, shut up, Eric. Since the 1900s, the world has changed dramatically. Authors no longer need to publish books the old-fashioned way. An author can now post his or her novels on a thing called the interweb. What? The internet? I am told it is a network which connects everyone in the world together. The popularity of being able to publish your own books this way has become extremely popular. In this image, the red line shows the popularity of books published by companies. The blue line shows the popularity by self-published books. As you can see, in the 1900s, company-published books were very much dominant over self-published books. You could publish your own novel. However, the expectations of that novel exceeding in the reading world were very low. 100 years later, the relationship between published and self-published books is almost equal. Whilst the published books are still dominant, the self-published books have taken a dramatic rise. 12 years later, we can see that self-published novels, with the thanks to the internet, e-books and a much easier way to advertise your novel, are beginning to have more of an impact on society. Because of this change, we have to ask the question, is this digitalization in the publishing industry for the best, or indeed the worst? Back in Charles' time now, the author and publishing company was very much in control of what was published. The author had influences from his friends, family, and the environment around him. However, it was very much him who controlled the content of his work. Once completed, he would pass this on to a private company, specializing in publishing books. If they approved of his novel, it would be published. If they didn't, it would be binned. From this you can see that there are only really two people involved in the process. Being able to create a good book was difficult because it was very hard to determine the public's interest at the time. The only way you could find this out is by looking at what novels were hot in your local bookstore and what people in your town were reading at the time. Now, though, that's all gone out of the window. There are many influences on how books are made. Like in Charles' time, the author writes the book. However, it is much easier to understand what will work and what won't. The public also have a dramatic effect on what the novel contains. If Eric decided to write a book, then he could ask people all over the world what should be included in the novel. He can also post previews of this novel on the internet to see if people are interested in reading more. Also, he no longer needs to publish his book through a private company. He can pass his novel on to professionals to approve of the content and writing. However, Eric can now publish his book on ebook stores like Amazon. Alternatively, he can post the whole novel on the internet and not charge anything for people to read or download it. Doesn't that sound spiffing? Well, let me tell you, it's not. Although it is easier to publish your own book, that doesn't mean the book will be successful. There are millions of people like Eric attempting the same thing, increasing competition and making it harder to stand out. In Charles' time, good authors were very much received as celebrities. Now, though, a good author could be you, your best friend, or your next-door neighbour. Although good, they are perceived as normal human beings, excluding the odd one or two. Because of this, it seems as if publishing the classic way is a dying race. Classic novels have been converted to digital novels through mediation. Therefore, there is really no longer a need for paper books to exist. At the moment, you're in the transitional stage. People are starting to switch between paper books to e-books. However, paper books are still very much the popular choice. Give it 50 years, though, with the next generation full of Erics, and only then will we know if books have become extinct. I hope you're happy, Eric.